Welcome, fellow golfers. I hope you've been having not only a good rest during these periods of self-isolation and social distancing, but honing in on your skills, fine-tuning your golf swing, focusing on your tempo, looking at, testing, trying the various tips, drills, feels that I've shared with you, over 60 of them. Do check them out. Let me know which ones you found most useful. Let me know if you've got some others that you've been using. Do comment. Do subscribe. Anyway, let's get to another 10 tips that I thought we should focus on. And I'll be giving you lots more to come before you get out there again and really knock that score down. Really get that accuracy improved. Really enjoy the game more. So to start with, I'm going to remind ourselves about tempo, and what we want to do is really find a nice smooth tempo. So all you're going to do is almost like a dance. You're saying, I'm going back, holding in the back and coming through. Hold back, coming through. As you do this, focus on some of the key tips. So, as you take back, not too far inside, but up and straight, and then turning your wrist for that shallow angle through. As you come through, and at the point of impact, your wrist and elbow facing the target as you come through and turn over. And I'll do a piece on the wrist behavior and turn over soon. So, as you do this, think about what Victor Hovland does at the top of your backswing. Hold it for a second as you come through. Hold for a second so you're not rushing it as you come through. Yeah, and if your turn is not as great as it once was, don't worry, go as far as you can. You don't want to be exaggerating it so you're lifting your head or your swing. Go as far as your turn is, keep that L almost at the parallel point, and that turn as much as you can. That's my limit, and then come through. Come through. A good one to start with, really focusing on rhythm and tempo. And that's if you particularly are somebody who has been hooking the ball a lot or pulling it a lot, as I have in the past tended to do. One quick way to try to help you fix that and to get that shallow swing is to pull your back foot back quite a bit, just to, not in the game itself, but as a way of practicing that shallow swing through. As a way of practicing that shallow swing through, you have no choice because your back foot having moved back, you are naturally going to turn that way. Now you don't want to, when you get to the swing, you don't want to be doing this. You just want to get that feel of that shallow swing so that you're not coming like this through. And if you've tended to do that, this will help you fix that. Another very important drill, hitting balls on the range in particular, is keep your feet together. Do the iron shots with your feet together. You want to get as far, you're not turning, but you also want to be getting that smooth swing into impact with your right hip. In my case, as I'm a left-hander, if you're a right-hander, your left hip taking the lead. So the right hip is turning and taking the lead. So think about the right hip as you put pressure back onto your front foot as you come down. So just to lead your downswing. And do a good half, three-quarter shot. And as you master that, right, with the right hip leading, not swaying, but turning, so you open out. As you do that in half and three-quarter shots, your full shots will become a lot better when you go back to normal swing, because you'll get used to that movement. So feet together drill. Very good. As another example of good practice, fine-tuning your shots, learning your distances, take 2 or 3 clubs with some gaps in between. So I've got a pitching wedge here, then my 7-iron, and I have a hybrid. And what you want to do is you want to try chipping with all 3. Inevitably, each club is slightly longer than the other, so your ball position is a bit different. Keep your posture the same, keep your body angles the same. But what you're going to try to do is chip with each club and try to aim for a particular distance and chip with each one, and then take a longer distance and chip with each one. And as you master that, you'll realize that you can really control and manipulate the ball, especially for that short game, for the scoring shots. So it's the same movement for chipping as you've seen in my other tips, except do it with 3 different clubs spaced out. As you master that distance with each club, you'll also see that the trajectory of the ball flight is slightly different, and depending on the layout of the course or the layout of that particular hole, you will feel confident to use different clubs for chipping. But it'll also get into your muscle memory that same movement. It's no different with the different clubs, except that you'll get different trajectories and different rollouts. And you'll learn as you hit these 3 or 4 clubs, if you wish, aiming for the same distances, and then, maybe 30 yards, 50 yards, 70 yards. Try it. I highly recommend it. Now you'll remember, if you've looked at some of my recent clips of indoor drills and tips, you'll remember about increasing your swing speed using alignment sticks. I've just taken 2 here. But this time what I want you to do is think of it for the iron strike. And instead of just stopping parallel, you're going to stop at the point of impact. And you want to make sure that your point of impact, obviously your hands are slightly forward off the ball point. So you go. Just stop there at the point of impact. Check your point of impact, but increase your swing speed at the same time. So that whipping action, hitting the nail with that ball being the nail. You're hitting it into the ground. You're nailing, hitting the hammer into the ball, into the ground. This drill is to help you do a halfway back turn. Halfway back and hold. Halfway back and hold. And check your alignment, check your body movement, and check your angles. So halfway back, I'm there, keeping it straight as I go out, and then I form that L. So giving it straight out, and then I form that L. And turn, weight onto the front foot for that downward swing. At that point, your weight, at halfway back, your weight can move back onto your front foot, ready for the finishing backward turn and then downswing. So check your ankles halfway back. Get that feel into your memory. Keep doing it. Get that feel into your memory. Back. So another good tip is to try to check your angles for your irons. Take your front hand, put it on top of the iron. Take your back hand, put your thumb around, and you want to be in that position at impact. In that position at impact. So again, get that feel as you know that's the thing. And of course, as you put both your hands back on the club, you'll get the right position. So very good trail side control. Squaring up to the target. What I've done is taken a piece of rubber band, put the alignment stick through it on both sides. You can also put it on your back, and I'll show you another drill on that at another time. Do subscribe. And you want to be pointing at the target, so don't just check your bottom alignment, but your shoulder alignment. Your shoulder alignment should be pointing at the target line. I sometimes tend to be too open, and then I risk either pushing it or in fact hooking and pulling it, because in fact I'm facing there, as you can see with the alignment stick, as opposed to there. Square up your shoulders much more and come down at it and through. So it should be, your squaring up should be pointing to the target line. Easy, simple drill with an alignment stick on your shoulders, either in front of you or along your back if that feels more comfortable. Another key tip is making sure your face of your driver is at the right square point on impact. So you do not want, it's very easy to have your face slightly too open or slightly closed. Remember, you want to have essentially a straight line from your elbow and arm down to your driver head at the point of impact. So that face should be square there. You shouldn't be then before that keeping it open or keeping it closed. Tanya's joining in here. So make sure you have that correct alignment position, the point of impact at your start. Then of course lift your club a little bit so that it gives you the confidence in your the right positions. That is your impact position as you of course come up through the ball in the case of a driver. Very easy for it to be slightly open and slightly closed, which then exaggerates the slice or the hook. And that really comes from sometimes you having too much of an angle on the club as opposed to that key position. So instead of it being there, it's there because you've pulled back, or it's there in a closed position, then of course you're going to hook the ball, even if you come with a shallow swing because your face is closed. Slices and hooks, there are two causes. It's not only your swing path, it's your club face. So your swing path might be shallow, but your club face, if it's open, you're going to really push it out there and slice it. If your club face is closed, you risk, and come down at it, you risk really pulling and hooking it. So it's really important that at the point of impact, so obviously slightly raised, you're with this straight, that's your impact point, that's what you want to have square. And so think about that on your setup. Tanya wants to join in and have a good time with it.